Let's see what they have to offer. 30-minute gameplay overview showcase. Okay.
Hi everybody,
Dune
and
Awakening.
welcome to this first glimpse at the gameplay of Dune Awakening. I'm really excited to welcome you into our world, but I want to point out a couple of things. First of all, this is a beta. It's beta footage, so you'll see bugs and you'll see things that need polish.
Of course.
And
we
secondly,
will.
our tutorialization is still a work in progress. With that said, let's get
Captured
into it.
from a work in progress version of the game.
The start of the game, Dune Awakening, begins off-world on this large spaceship.
Show yourself, child.
It is here, in the presence of the Reverend Mother, the character creation begins. Now the first thing you'll do is choose your preset avatar. Some of these are heavily inspired by the Denis Villeneuve movies. Once you've chosen a base visual look, you can then move into the depths of character creation and make choices about how your character feels, both in terms of age, but also a plethora of physical attributes. Our goal in giving players access to a detailed character creator is to really allow them to create the avatar that lets them fulfill their fantasy of living out their dreams on Arrakis.
Okay. Because fulfilling your fantasy is something different. I want to see the hairstyles. Let's see what kind of hairs.
There are a multitude of hairstyles.
Do my people right, because it's already looking like you're not doing this right. I don't see no dreads.
And other things such as tattoos.
Well, maybe that's because it's women. Well, maybe
you can even choose
there's no
different
dreads
styles of lipstick and eyeshadow.
During this time period. Okay, character customization is pretty cool. Okay, let's see what the guys look like.
You can choose the muscle tone of your character.
Pause.
From height, arm thickness, leg thickness, neck length.
Skin tone.
Once you finish your character,
okay,
you choose your name.
So we're not going to see the hair. Declan.
And once you've customized the avatar that you want to play in the game,
Have they told you
well, then we
what
move
I
into
am?
the second phase of character creation.
Then I will sift your words for lies.
Oh.
Let's begin. Where were you born?
The second phase of character creation
A world
is
of
where
water.
you,
Whoa, slow down.
as a person who may or may not know anything about Dune,
No,
get
nothing.
to make choices about
I mean,
who you were before the game starts.
I watched
Where you come
the
from,
movies.
Bad advice.
what caste you belong
make a
to
bad
in the Dune
deal.
universe, and of
Be
course,
close to
perhaps
power
most
is to
importantly,
walk the
who your
night
mentor was.
Who was your mentor?
Your mentor determines your starting set of skills
Ah.
to the game.
Okay,
You
that's
must
pretty
have been
cool.
very young. The mind must be prepared, or the training does not take.
Can we
The
go back?
test
Can we
is
go back?
almost complete. Have you spoken truth?
Can I see what kind of...
Who in the Dune universe, and of
Be
course,
close to
perhaps
power
most
is to
importantly,
walk the
who your
night.
mentor was.
Okay, training, Source Master. Starting ability, enter deflection. Enter a defensive stance. Okay. Cool. I wonder training. Physical mastery of manipulation. Starting ability. Ooh, voice ability. Use the voice to force someone towards your position from afar. I like that. I like that.
Mentor.
Your mentor
Okay.
determines your
Next one, the Mentat. Recon and strategy. Okay, of course, recon and strategy. Starting ability, battlefield calculation. Scan nearby enemies and objects, gaining information. Okay, you're
starting
scouting.
set of skills.
Show the last one. What's a trooper? Okay, I
You
guess
must have
not.
been
We'll
very young. The
see what
mind
that's like.
must be prepared, or the training does
I
not
like that.
take.
Sit down.
Test is
If you ever
almost
watched the movie.
complete. Have you spoken truth? Come here. Kneel. Put your hand in the box.
Uh-oh.
I hold at your neck the Gonjabar, the high-handed enemy. Don't pull away or you will die. Great plots are afoot in the Imperium, and the currents of intrigue run deeply. Arrakis is the key, and the Fremen are missing. You will go to Arrakis as our agent, prisoner. You have one task. Find the Fremen. Wake the sleeper. You will know when it is done.
I'm excited about this game, man. I really am. I haven't played a game like this before, a survival MMO type style game. Dune Awakening. I know there's
we're gonna jump ahead a little bit in the story.
Conan.
Skipping past several
and
events
Ark.
just to sort of get into the early new player experience of the game.
Yeah.
And you'll see that the player, after various shenanigans, wakes up here in a cave. And as we sort of look around the cave, we'll notice that it's filled with Fremen and the remnants of, this ancient culture.
Okay. Can we breathe? We can't be able to breathe down here, right? Don't you need the little nose thing?
So now as the player takes their first steps in the world, they're really here amongst the dead. And so the first question they should be asking is, what happened here? Who are these people?
What happened?
And, this is just a place where we give players a little bit of time to adjust their settings, get a feel for the movement keys, and then move forward into the cave. And they'll stumble upon their first major interaction point, which is the Frem Kit.
There it is. I told you.
The Frem Kit in our game serves as both a backpack for the player, of course, but also really a guide. The Fremen used to pack these with interesting objects that they could use to survive in the desert, and it's no different from the player.
Scrap metal
so here
knife.
They begin their first crafting experience, crafting a small scrap knife out of metal that was in the Frem Kit. These caves have been moisture sealed in order to preserve the moisture of those within the cave, and so the player, as they explore, will be able to use their scrap metal knife to pierce the seals.
So that explains my question about him being able to breathe.
This entire area, built using Unreal Engine 5, is just to sort of get the player and ease them into the path. A lot of survival games have very abrupt, very harsh beginnings, and we try to make
Come here,
Dune
break this rock.
just a little easier. Just give people a little bit of a feel for the world before we really toss them
Cut
out
this
into
tree
the
down.
harshness
Build a
that is
house
the desert of
with these
Arrakis.
3 things.
So here we've crafted a heal kit, and we're going to use that to heal our character.
Oh,
Once
yeah,
we're
low
healed,
health.
you'll see that our stamina bar in the bottom left appears. And now that we have stamina, we can climb.
Oh, snap.
The
Okay,
climbing
Breath of
system
the
in Dune
Wild.
Awakening is based in part on the one that we built for Conan Exiles. It's a free-form climbing system. It can be used to climb almost anywhere.
To jump,
And as you'll see later, the new technology available in Dune Awakening, such as suspensor belts, allows us to do even more interesting things with traversal.
Okay, all right.
So
Your
once
first
we've finished that
steps.
first little section, we're jumping ahead. We're going straight into the harsh real world.
It looks
of Arrakis.
looks
And here are your first
crazy.
steps on Arrakis. Your ornithopter has crashed, and you've got to escape from the crash site immediately because the sandworm always comes.
Ooh.
And what you have to keep in mind is these are the little ones. So these are the first sandworms you encounter in the game. There's bigger ones later on.
Because if they
The
start
other thing
chasing
you
me,
have to pay attention to as a player is
there
sunstroke
water?
and heat.
Where's the
So if you
sunstroke?
see in the top middle of the UI here,
Okay.
we've got this sunstroke bar building up. The longer you stay in the sunlight, the more chance you have of getting into the sunstroke state. And of course, our player here, not the sharpest knife in the drawer, has decided to stay in the sun and try harvesting water from plants. So he has become sunstroked.
What does that do?
Sunstroke gives you a debuff. It means that your water goes down much faster than it normally would. That means you'll need to drink more often.
Oh,
So stick to the
fall
shadows.
damage. Okay.
Avoid the sun. It will eventually wear off if you stay in shade long enough. So now that we've made our way
It's
out
like
of the
that
first
game
part of the
playing,
desert, and we're
running in
heading
the
deeper
shadows
we're going to start to harvest in the game world.
as
So
a child.
harvesting in a lot of these survival games is quite similar. In this case, we're picking up items, but we're about to pull out what's known as the cutter ray. What we do with the cut array is we analyze structures to find their weak points, and then we cut along those lines to break open the structures and gain the resources inside. This is like mining. We apply it both to rocks, we apply it to metals in the game world. And at the start of the game as a player, you'll just be scrounging around, picking up, finding structural weak points in rocks that you can harvest, breaking them apart, and taking those pieces with you.
Okay, all right, not bad, not bad.
And we see that the player is starting to be affected by the spice in the air.
Oh, so you can't breathe.
And this means that players need to get somewhere safe, in shelter,
before
the spice overwhelms them.
Where's it?
Overwhelms their senses. And this is another large part of the game. We're not going to show too much of it today, but spice is a very important part.
That spice.
With the world
NPC
broken
bases
apart by the War of Assassins, there are NPC bases scattered all over Arrakis. We're switching to a different character now, one who's slightly more advanced, and he's using his binoculars to mark an NPC outpost. We're going to mark that. That marker will then appear on our compass, and you're able to approach him in any way you like. In this case, our character uses a Shigawire claw combined with a suspensor belt to get up to high ground and approach the enemy base from above. One of the interesting things about Dune Awakening is just how you can combine the different abilities. And this is how traversal really plays into the game. Like, you end up being able to attack these bases from any angle.
This is about to be lit, man. This is about to be real dope.
Our player is going to craft the first gun in the game, known as a Mauler pistol, which translates to, the basic kind of weapon in the game. As you may know, in Dune, bullets are not the preferred type of ammunition. Instead, it's darts, which are fired at a slower rate in order to try and attempt to pierce shields.
I didn't know that.
Now, this early in the game,
learn something new.
Don't really have shields, so the player is going to sneak into the base from above and use a combination of their early abilities. In this case, dropping out a grenade, then sneaking around the corner, and beginning to get into NPCs head on.
Those are darts?
Now, troopers are the basic shock troops of the universe, and their ability trees reflect that. Grenades, Shigawire claws for moving around.
Okay.
And of course, they're able to take down people with headshots.
So he's a trooper.
You can see how suspensor belts really allow you to change your approach to combat.
What did he throw, a bomb?
Dune Awakening is at heart a third-person shooter with melee and abilities. And it's the combination of melee, abilities, and range
movement
that creates what we call combined arms.
It's actually pretty cool. Is that a chest over there? You're not going to get that chest? Loot it, man.
Now, we've taken a fair bit of damage in this battle, so we're going to stop for a second to heal ourselves up with a bandage. Bandages heal over time, so you can't just heal yourself to 100%. You have to actually get into safety, get behind cover before you start using them.
That movement, I like it. I'm not going to lie.
To a slightly different character.
Slightly
to show
different?
off more of the melee that we have in the game. Because you're about to see that when a character gets in close, it's melee time.
Yeah, I'm more of a melee player.
This character has Swordmaster abilities. First of all, the knee charge, which is about getting in close to do damage in combat. And then quickly setting up to a riposte, which allows you to parry and return massive amounts of damage to your enemy.
Okay.
Of course, later in the game, when enemies have shields, melee is a much more emphasized style of combat.
Is it going to be one of these?
When a player is not really equipped to handle ranged characters, they have to fall back on their abilities to get in close.
I was about to say.
We've switched again. Now we're going to switch to a set of Mentat abilities. One of these abilities is known as Battlefield Calculation. Using Battlefield Calculation, the Mentat is able to calculate from anybody that they see what they're carrying and what they're wearing. Now we've dropped out our Hunter Seeker, and we're using our Hunter Seeker ability to take down enemies in the world really quickly.
This is kind of lit. You can see what he's carrying, what he's holding.
Now, obviously, when you're playing with a friend, you want to combine your abilities and work together. In this case, the Mentat's able to point out to their friend where people are in the world and how much ammo and stuff they have. And you'll see that when enemies go down sometimes, they go into a down but not out state. It's up to you whether you execute them or continue to fight.
What happens if you leave them? That's a long cooldown too, by the way.
After a quick reload, it's back into the battle with our friend coming from above and throwing out one more grenade.
I want that move ability where I can float. Okay. Extinguish it. What did I say?
And once you've defeated your enemies in battle, Sometimes you just got to take their blood.
Now we're vampires.
In order to get water, the player's going to have to craft themselves this blood sack and this blood extractor and use it to harvest blood from their fallen enemies.
This is a PvP game, isn't it? And this is like, so if I ran it, okay, hold on,
now,
wait a minute.
In our game, it's not always a good thing to just take blood from people.
Why not?
It's potentially bad and can only be used for certain things. Once you've extracted the blood, you can then of course drink it. As you'll see here, the player takes a big sip from their blood bag. But when they do that, it causes a debuff because the blood is not exactly pure, and drinking blood for water is not exactly a 1-to-1 scenario.
Yeah.
So you'll see that our health bar got shorter while our water bar went up.
Yeah.
And so being a blood drinker is not always looked upon in the right way.
Player basis. Okay. So you can sit here and drink people's blood to get a debuff. So if you drink, if you're in a tight spot and you don't have any water, the best thing to do is what? Drink some blood. Like we're a vampire.
Of course, once you've played the game for a little while, you'll start wanting to build your own base. And the first part of that is placing down what we call a sub-fief console. A sub-fief console allows you to claim a small part of Arrakis as your own.
This is the...
But it does
okay.
in turn mean that you'll start to owe taxes to the Emperor.
What?
So here we are with our building system. And you can see that we have two types of building here. We have the holograms, which show in the beginning. I call them solido projections internally. And we have the way that you fill in, which is by holding down the mouse button in this case.
Okay.
So, the cool thing about this is it allows us to have this cooperative building system.
Okay, I see. So, I guess I'm about to explain anyway, but I like to, dissect before. So you can put the holograms down and show what you want to build and how you want to build it. And then if your teammates see it and you need a certain amount of materials, they can help fill the spots in and know how you want to build it.
So you'll see that one player places out the solido projections and the other player fills them in with the materials from their inventory. This is just a way that lets people play together and build together.
Makes a lot of sense.
And exciting way.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
We've seen through our experience with Conan Exiles that some people just love to build in these games. So we've created a system called the Blueprint Building System that allows players to save a copy of their base as one of these giant holographics. Then they can take them out into the world and place them out wherever they like and then rebuild.
That's
and
actually
we
dope.
have another system in the game which allows you to take these big architectural designs of your buildings and sell them to other players on the exchange.
That's dope, man. You
Once
can go
again,
about
this is
this.
a way to quickly move your base around the world. If you've got a design you like, you don't have to, throw it out immediately.
Can I tell you how amazing that is? Because sometimes you build a base and you spend time there, and then you're traveling around the world, and the next thing you know, you wanna be able to just pick up a move. You found a new location, like, oh man, this location is nice, but you don't want to start all over. But now you can just,
and it allows you to create these interesting masterpieces.
Well,
it
you
also,
don't.
as
Okay,
you can see
never
here,
mind.
allows you to, if you're not artistically minded and you don't like building big bases, you can buy them from other players.
Dope. Base crafting.
Once you finish crafting a base, you want to fill it with all kinds of machines, fabricators, and refineries. And of course, harkening back to the blood extraction we just did, we've got the blood purifier. So what we want to do is take the blood from our blood sack and deposit it into the blood purifier, and over time it will refine into lovely fresh water, which can then extract into our litogens and carry with us out into the desert.
Oh, so I'm taking
While
everybody's
there's many
blood.
varieties of fabricators that you can use to craft things in the game, one of the most exciting things is crafting yourself a vehicle. So we're opening the technology menu, and from here we're able to purchase.
This is giving me, I guess I did play a game like this, what you call it, Power World vibes. I'm here for it. But Power World wasn't really an MMO like that where you can run around and see multiple people online. You just have instances and stuff, but like...
The design.
So I'm pretty sure they're going to have servers, right? It's going to be server based?
For a sandbike. A sandbike is one of the early vehicles available to players in the game. And you can kit it out with different types of modules, including an extra seat, which allows you to bring your friends with you. So in this menu, you can see we're fabricating ourselves a sandbike. And all the different parts of the sandbike have to be fabricated individually. So the player is going into the menu here, they're crafting different things which will make up their sand bike. And as you can see, it prints out in this kind of 3D printer type way,
Yeah.
where all the materials are turned into these particles, which then come together to form the different pieces of the sand bike. And you can see it's sort of all happening in the background here. And if we go out into the world view, you can actually see the pieces forming up inside the fabricator. So a base with lots of these fabricators going is actually pretty cool and pretty
You
big.
can see what's going on, see what's
Once
being
we've done,
built.
we jump back in, we pull things out of the queue, chuck them into our inventory, and then we use the welding tool to place out vehicle pieces. Now again, this is a cooperative activity. We've thought about multiplayer, so any other player could be working with you to place modules and pieces of this bike.
Nice.
And so we're going to assemble this bike, but of course when you work on larger vehicles and your friends are with you, you'll be able to work together to craft big things like transport ornithopters or sand.
I want to see the planes.
And so we're going to add the body to this, and we're going to add an extra seat just in case we want to bring our friend with us out into the world. Once the bike's been assembled and fueled up,
you got the
you
buddy
jump on,
system.
and you can head out to explore the greater areas of Arrakis.
Cause that's crazy. World events. They got world events here. Okay, so let's see what these are looking
Heading
like.
out into the world to explore can be a dangerous experience. And as you explore the universe, you'll find certain dynamic events will occur. In
Let's
this
go.
case, the War of Assassins has claimed a new victim, a ship which falls from the sky, spilling its loot all over the sand. So we
No.
head out there to see what we can get, to harvest and gather as much as we can. Of course, the problem is this is extremely visible to everybody in the nearby area.
First come,
So
first
people
serve.
will be
man.
able to see this, and so in a PvP area, you might suddenly find yourself coming into competition with other players. In a PvE area, you might just find other people competing with you to get to the loot first.
This could be dangerous. Oh, so there are PvE and PvP areas. Okay. From my understanding, I thought it was going to be a whole
And of
PvP
course,
world, no
at
PvE at
nighttime,
all.
There are different kinds of threats. Because while the heat of the day is dangerous, at night, the Sardaukar patrol this area of the desert with huge spotlights, searching for players. Now this player is over here, harvesting dew with a dew reaper, sucking the water off the surface of these plants,
Whoa.
and they've been captured and seen by the Sardaukar.
Why do you keep doing that?
And the Sardaukar send down troops who come floating down out of the sky to attack and destroy the players.
That's actually pretty cool. That's actually pretty cool. Now let's see, Sam. Can we ride these things?
Now, of course, as mentioned, traveling on the surface at any time risks drawing a sandworm. But there are certain things which we've created to draw players out of their comfort zones. So in this case, there's a special type of sand here on the surface, known as flower sand. Flower sand, according to the books, is the softest kind of sand, and players can use it to refine it into a variety of different materials that they need for crafting. So you want to come out into the desert and you want to try and find flower sand, but you have to be wary and pay attention, because as you harvest, you risk drawing the attention
That's
of the
crazy.
sandworm.
Yeah, no way.
We've
No way.
awoken the beast.
No way.
The sandworm is coming. We spent too much time out here.
No way.
And it's coming to get us. Now you can see
Wait,
in
wait,
the
wait,
middle
wait,
of the
wait,
screen.
wait. The sun thing is gone, so that must be an early game type of thing, I guess, right? The sun thing, standing in the sun, it's gone.
We've awoken the beast. The sandworm is coming. We spent too much time out here.
Get
It's
out.
coming to get us. Now you can see in the middle of the screen the indicator showing us that the sandworm is angry and it's coming after us. And our only option now is to get back
Oh my
to rocky
god.
ground.
Oh my
or the
god.
sandworm's going to take us.
Oh my god.
I don't know how those guys survived that, but somehow they managed to get to the safety of the rock island.
They didn't survive that. Yeah, no, that was wild. Player hubs. Let's see what they're talking about.
Once you've crafted your first ornithopter, you'll be able to take to the air, and your entire perspective of the world shifts.
This is dope.
From here, it'll make traversing the world a lot safer because you can avoid the sandworms. It'll also help you to go out into the larger world of Arrakis.
Of Arrakis.
Here we are in the overland map, and we're going to make our way south until we find the place known as Harko Village. Harko village is the current seat of the Harkonnen, after their city, Carthag, was destroyed in a nuclear explosion during the War of Assassins.
Is it fast
There's
travel?
more details like that in the lore of the game for players to discover and explore. So we're going to land at Harko, and we're going to explore the social space.
What kind of traveling was that?
Once you
Autopilot?
arrive in Harko village, you'll be able to meet up with other players, interact with them, trade, and create guilds. The game has a variety of social interaction mechanics, from emotes to grouping to a chat. Throughout Harko village, you'll also interact with story characters, follow the main story. You'll be able to meet vendors who will sell you exotic items.
They let you live. That is interesting.
That is
You'll be able
interesting.
to get a feel for how the factions are viewed in the world, and of course, you'll be able to swear allegiance to one of the major factions, the Harkonnen or the Atreides. Swear your guild's allegiance and begin to take part in the politics of
There's only 2? Should be 3, right? Testing stations.
Once you've grouped up with friends, you should go out into the world and find desert Imperial testing stations. These are dungeon-like experiences, which you and your friends can work through together.
That's
So,
cool.
Here we are landing our various
Because I was wondering what kind of content.
outside of one of the desert testing stations, and we're going to head in as a group. Now, it's really important to prepare different skills and abilities. These areas tend to be more of a challenge, and it's great to work together.
Skill tree. Okay, they got skill trees.
To complement each other.
This is the mentor one. Okay.
This is the skill tree. Here you can equip different types of abilities and techniques. We have 3 slots for abilities and 3 slots for techniques. And there are multiple different trees depending on the type of trainers that you've interacted with.
Okay, that's that knee one.
So our character here is going to equip a
Okay.
series of abilities that complements the rest of their group. In this case, Swordmaster techniques. Alright, so we're heading in. And of course you can use dispenser belts to traverse, as you'd expect. We're
That
going to
is
explore this Imperial testing.
Cool way to
You've entered Desert
travel.
Botanical Testing Station number 163. I'm Dr. Wen Olmecker, Senior Plant Geneticist here at the station.
I wonder how many people
Testing
could be in the
stations
guild.
have storylines as well as
I think like
enemies to
20
fight
is a good
and
number.
loot to be found. So you really want to go in here and enjoy the experience. Playing through with friends, working together, using different weapons and trying out different techniques.
That's cool, man.
Now this player has placed out a portable cover. It's a different ability to what we've seen before. And you see that the enemies here have shields.
Is that what that is?
Using the
Damn.
flamethrower, it's easy to get through a shield because you can burn the air around them.
Level 21. What is that? Level 21, you got skill points?
Easy to get through a shield because you can burn
What do
the
you
air
see?
around them.
Level 21 skill points, intel 15 points.
And of course our characters are a little higher level than they were in the start of this video.
Yeah, I
So
just
you're able
seen
to see
level
that,
21.
yeah, we can take people down a little more easily. And of course, when you get to the
Stormtrooper.
end of these areas, you find these really cool loot chests. And in these loot chests, you find specialized components that are used for crafting exotic weapons and items.
Nice. Now, does everybody get their own loot? Or is everybody going to get
The end game
The
of
same
Dune
loot.
Awakening
You
takes
have to
place
share
in
it.
the deep desert.
the spice
Giant
wars?
spice blows will happen, drawing players from all around to try and harvest the spice as quickly as possible.
That's
You
gonna
wanna
be
get there first.
wild.
And you want to try and take as much spice as you can before an enemy guild shows up to try and take it away from you.
That's gonna be kind of dope.
Now, of course, if you're clever and you start to lose the battle, you might place out a thumper, and that limits the time in which people are able to take spice, because
That's gonna be
then the big worm is going to show up.
the big one. Oh my god. Yeah, Nah, I'm a fan. I'm a fan. Can't wait for that one to come out. Definitely gonna be hopping on that when it comes out. Dune Awakening coming out 2025 sometime. Looking forward to it.